in every 3 women has undergone gender-based violence. This is quite sad. And I must admit that as men, we ought to do better. The statistics become even more damning when we look at our country, Kenya. Over 40% of women have undergone gender-based violence. Mind you, this is not considering the cases that are left underreported, and this is not considering the usual, the usual sexual harassment that women undergo, even here in town right now as they walk. Some people who want you to board matatus touch you without your consent, and it's usually very uncomfortable. And so we are left in a position where if we do not address this issue of GBV, then things will only get worse. But as the wise Englishmen used to say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Awareness is the first step. And that is what we have begun to do today. It is not a small feat that many of you decided to come and have this engaging conversation with us. You are part of the journey to make sure that GBV eventually comes to an end. I thank you very much. Mjipigieni makofi jamani. Yes. And so from there, I would like to call our president of WOSWA to come and give us the way forward.
Hi girls, hi men. Good morning everyone. So my name is Marion Mwendwa. I am the WOSWA president, and thank you for coming. It's a really great thing to see we have people who are ready to fight, to help us in the fight against gender-based violence, considering this year's theme for the 16 days of activism, technology-facilitated gender-based violence. And so what I'm going to do, we're going to wait for the patron. She's going to do her opening remarks, but I think I'll invite the people around to say hi to us. I'll invite Madam Patricia from Girl Child Network to say a word. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? So as you've heard, my name is Patricia Kwamboka. I work at Girl Child Network, coordinating the Gender in Education movement, which is all these organizations that have come together to address the issue of gender equality in Kenya, and especially looking at it from gender equity. So for the gentlemen in the room, so gender is not about women, because I've seen Marion convincing young men out there to come into the room that it's not just about women. So gender is about all of us, both the women and the men, because we want to go through life together and deal with the challenges and access opportunities equally. So that is really what gender is about. And that's what the Gender in Education movement is looking at, because we have themes that are around the girls' education. We are also looking at boys. And I think maybe you know Kenya, we have a third gender, yeah? We have the intersex. Basically, the persons who are born without, you cannot tell if they are, you cannot place them as male or female, so they are called intersex. So Kenya has that, and it was passed in Parliament, and they were counted in the census of 2019, and they even get birth certificates. So they are there and they have rights. Then when you're talking about gender, you're also looking at inclusion. So you're also talking about issues to do with people who are left behind in our society, like persons with disability. We're looking at people living in marginalized areas of our country. So that is what gender is about as an introduction. And we are happy to partner with anyone who is working towards promoting our society, promoting everyone, both men and women, boys and girls, and intersex persons. Yeah, and in supporting this event, and as we celebrate and commemorate these 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, this year we are looking at digital violence is the theme for this year. And it's about looking at how safe we are in the digital space. I think the panelists will talk about that. And it's an emerging issue, and especially affecting young people like you, because you're the ones who are active online. Us, we prefer operating in the tunaita real world. Nyi mko huko virtual sana, so mpaka mmepata how you can bully each other and do all sorts of things to each other virtually, and affecting your mental health. And sometimes it even spills over out of that space and comes into the real world, as we call it. So we would want to be able to sensitize you on that. It's an emerging issue, so that you're able to know how to protect yourself, because there's nothing as bad as having gone through something and you're now a survivor and you're healing from it. It is always better never to have gone through that experience. So they say information and knowledge is power. So when you have that, you'll be able to protect yourself and ensure you're also helping your friends to protect themselves. Girl Child Network, because that's also the organization I'm representing, is an organization that has been in operation since the Beijing platform, which was in 1995. And there's an article in that platform for action on empowerment of women, which is about the girl child and empowering the girl child, because they recognize that the challenges that girls face are not the same as the challenges of women. So the girl child was identified, and plans were made for empowering the girl child. So that's why Girl Child Network exists. I think one of the biggest things Girl Child has done, the sanitary towels that you see in schools that are funded by the government, that started with Girl Child Network. They started a campaign, they pushed for it. I wish our ED was here, our executive director, because she was the one who pushed. It's called Massimo Somi, but she'll be coming by later. And that is one of the biggest successes of Girl Child Network that most people will see. But we continue to work to empower girls, and we are in the remote areas of Kenya, in Turkana, in Kajiado, in Garissa. We've been in Kwale, Kilifi, Tana River, where we know girls are really being left behind. Here in Nairobi, people can think women and girls are doing well, but in reality, back there in the grassroots, the situation is still not good. We still need to keep pushing them and promoting the rights of girls. But we also recognize at the same time, boys are also being affected. So as we work with girls in the communities, we also look at the challenges boys are facing. And I know In our collaboration with the Gender in Education Movement and the National and Gender Equality Commission, one of the things that we are saying is there's a lot people are saying about what about the boys, but there are no statistics. You know, it's very easy for me to advocate for the girl. I can say, you know, there are in some areas, because of lack of sanitary towels and menstrual hygienic facilities in schools, girls miss 3 to 4 days in a month. They are absent from school. So imagine missing school for 4 or 3 days. Do you know how much that girl is missing? And she's competing with somebody who attends school every day. Try to catch up, especially in high school where the teachers dictate notes and you're catching up over something that is natural, like the way you eat or you need to go to the toilet. It is not her fault she's like that. Sindio? Si makosa. So it's easy for me too. But now for boys, we need to also have those stories and those narratives that we can say. Because yes, out here we are seeing issues of increased suicide, we are seeing issues of drug and substance abuse, behaviors that are considered to be truant, but we are not understanding why they are there. Then we also know at the end of the day, see, these boys and girls will become men and women and they will get married and have families. So we still need to work together. So yeah, as an introduction and talking about what Girl Child Network does and Gender in Education Movement, that is us, and we are happy to partner with WOSWA, Safaricom, DCI. The detective is on the way coming. I've been told there's Madam Nyokabi who is here. So we are happy to partner, to be part of this and have this opportunity to raise awareness on technology-facilitated gender-based violence. So Marion, I think I can talk the whole day. Oh, who is the moderator? I hand over.
Thank you very much for that speech. Hi, everyone, once again. There's a pamphlet that has been distributed, and in it there's a QR code. Please scan it. This QR code will lead you to a form. That form will ask you questions on if you've ever experienced gender-based violence, how bad it was. It will help us understand the gravity of the situation. And furthermore, it will help us gauge how bad things are. Now, to get things rolling, I would like to go around the crowd and ask, what are your expectations about this conference, this conversation? What would you like to gain? And I would like to start from the front. What is your expectation?
Hi, my name is Redempta Modoni from Safe Online Women Kenya. My expectation today is that we are able to advance the conversation surrounding technology-facilitated gender-based violence. And one of the key things I am keen on today is just to check what are the wordings that are being used when we talk about TFGBV. Are we talking about words like revenge porn instead of image-based abuse? How are we talking about victims and survivors? So my expectation is around the language that is used, because that is how we shape the conversation around TFGBV. Thank you.
Clap for her. That's very nice, Modoni. What do you expect to gain from this conversation? No, don't be afraid. Just tell us what you honestly think. Just one word. Just one word. Okay. What do you expect to gain from this conversation?
I expect to gain more knowledge on how to fight GBV through online platforms.
Thank you. What's your name?
Precious.
Okay. Precious says she wants to gain more knowledge on how we can fight GBV. Those are all good opinions, and I know by the end of this conversation, we would have achieved that. I would like to hand over to Marion.
Chikwanto.
Okay, so next I would like to invite the Vice President, UNSA, Faith, Purity Mutua. You're welcome. Let's clap as she comes.
Thank you very much. My name is Purity Mutua. I am the Vice President UNSA. So that is the UNSA Council, Student Council 2025-2026. Apart from having a very powerful title, a day typically for me looks like chasing after a cow and a goat, because mimi ni daktari wa ng'ombe, from Upper Kabete campus. And even in the campus where I have been for 5 years now, a conversation like this touches home constantly. Being the senior most female student representative in the University of Nairobi looks like similar to what WASWA president goes through. Getting cases of sexual harassment, varying cases, pregnancy, abortion, the whole shebang. And so being in this space right now is a testament to my commitment in making sure that those issues are addressed institutionally, and also being a sister's keeper. In very many ways, there's a lot of things that are watered under the bus when it comes to sexual harassment, because it's a social issue, and more so also cultural as well. We've been regularized to think that being sexually harassed is normal, and that as a girl or even as a male, there are things that you should not be bothered about. But I believe that that is not the case, and I believe that every girl and every boy, student in this university, deserves a voice and deserves a safe space to thrive. And so my presence here today is to say that I am present, not just as Vice President of UNSA, but as a student like you. So I'm very honored to be here. Marion, thank you for being here, for inviting me here. And I hope to have a very fruitful discussion. And please, I'd like to have a chance to say hi to all of you as well. So feel free to say hi. Thank you.
Thank you to Purity. She's one of the ladies, among all the vice presidents in UNSA, she's one of the caring ladies to the girl child in the University of Nairobi. And that's why we're working with her and an initiative from UNSA called Sisters Keeper. So next I would like to invite our patron to give her opening remarks. Thank you.
Karibuni, welcome to University of Nairobi. Girl Child Network, where are you? Wow, that was powerful. To our visitors, our chief guest, Honorable Anne Nyokabi, Jane Moronge, women of value or women of? Yes. So we have powerful women in the house. To our own Purity, UNSA, you are carrying our torch well. And to all our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Okay, I observe all protocols. If I've not recognized you, also President and others, but please feel at home. I'm Professor Anne Asay. I'm the WASWA patron. On a daily basis, I teach here at the University of Nairobi, where I'm also the chair of Department of Educational and Distance Studies. So I'm a member of the Senate, where we make decisions. Yeah, this day is very important for us when we sit here to discuss issues to do with the girls. I agree with the lady from the Gender Network that The problem with the boy child is not the boy child, it's the girl child. If the girl child is empowered, the boy child is very much okay. If girls go to school, boys will get good wives, yeah? If they don't go to school, boys will get wives whom they love to buy salt, burger every day. But if the girls are empowered, the boy child is okay. Though we are not saying that we are not looking at the boy child, but we also consider the boy child. That is why in Waswa, we have boys. When you call maybe in Manu Chandaria, when you call that it is a girls' day, you expect to have 600 girls. We normally have 300 girls and at times 400 boys. So they told us one time, we asked them and they said that nobody cares about boys, so we have to come with our sisters and escort them and also hear what you people say. So they realized we don't sengenya them, we just talk good about everybody else, yeah. So this university is big, and maybe you could just look at WASWA is just one body looking at the issue of the girls. And the issue of the girls here, when you have 20,000 girls in an institution, you know what it means. So we encourage all the girls to belong to an organization, whether it is engineering, it is law, but come to WASWA. In WASWA, we have so many things which we can share with you. We handle cases of GBV. I'm a trained victimologist, so I handled cases of GBV even yesterday and handled and sorted out. We don't say much because we keep that. Some of the things, if you say, the first time we handled it with Mary, somehow we told one and it spread and the girl left the university. So they are very sensitive issues, so when you are handling it, we'll one day, if you get a sponsor, take you through a training, few girls, so that you can be told how to handle victims of GBV. It's a very critical component. One can break down, one can, so I handled a lady who was crying throughout. Just days ago, not even weeks ago, days ago, who was crying throughout because of GBV in this university where you are sitting today. Then I said this one reached our hands. What about those ones outside there we don't know? Yeah, so these 16 days are very critical for us as women, as ladies, and with brothers and sisters to reflect and see what goes on. The most important here is to work with partners. When we see partners here from Gender in Education Movement, Generation Equality, and many others, and the county government and our former women's leaders, we feel just happy just to have you around. The students come from different communities, and they would wish to know what is going on. Yeah? Femicide is taking on the rise among the university girls. Who is talking about it? We cannot take it as normal business. Yeah? Girls are being abused in the universities. Who is taking that action? Yeah. One time when I was teaching these evening classes, in the next room in this tower here, a lady left the class with the fellow ladies. They walked down, they were going to get their vehicle wherever it was. Then as they separated, there was a disabled who was sitting, and people didn't expect him to do much. So it was a bit dark. And so the lady walked in the alley where she was supposed to go and get her vehicle. The lame man incidentally pulled her down and raped her. The whole thing happened within less than 10 minutes. So people are telling her, why couldn't you make noise? Why couldn't you make noise? She said, even if you made the loudest noise, but people didn't bother, whatever was going on. Yeah. So that is how uncaring the society could also be. Yeah. Within just a few minutes from the university in the town, somebody is already raped. And these are just cases which we know. How many go on without knowing? So I was so annoyed, I went to the town council of Nairobi, the planning section, and I asked them, how do you normally plan your building? Who is in charge of building? Do you normally take the gender issues as you plan your building? Why was this lady raped within this alley? We need to work with these people at all levels as they plan the buildings in Nairobi. Then he told me that, we've never even looked at that aspect of women can be raped or something can happen. I said, the networks, our visitors, our politicians among us, and those intending to be politicians, there are also lessons here to be learned. So feel welcome to the University of Nairobi. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and everybody else, this is the University of Nairobi, your university. It's a public institution with over 40,000 students, with over 10,000 and teaching staff, and many others. We are in Mombasa campus, we are in Kisumu campus, we are in Nairobi campus. Our other campuses is Parklands campus of law, we have Kabete. We are divided into 10 faculties with over 700 academic programs. Which one is touching on GBV? So we need to look around and say that we have quite a number. Yeah, so feel welcomed and feel at home. And we learn from one another. Nobody has more knowledge than the other. Even as professors, we still rely on you. Nobody is more educated than the other. Even the girls there can give us, the boys there can give us some information. Thank you so much, and thank you also for spearheading this. And thank you our visitors who have come and those who are joining us. They still feel welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our patron, for those insights. I don't know about you, but the story of the girl being raped along the alley, because it's quite sad, especially with the kind of arrogant attitude that they dealt with. I don't know. It's horrible. Yeah, I would like to invite our president to give us the way forward.
Okay, I'm so sorry, I'm on and about, but then there's a case that I'm dealing with of some lady outside here, so you'll forgive me. I'll just read my opening remarks and then we can continue the program. Okay. So it's my honor to welcome all of you to this activity, this discussion as part of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. As I said, this year's theme was Unite to Best Violence Among Women and Girls. And one thing that I believe in, we cannot deal with this alone. That's why we have men in the house supporting the agenda for ending gender-based violence. If you don't bring, I'm not saying men are perpetrators or anything, but the men at least they understand their fellow men. And the moment you bring them on board in trying to solve the issue, it's a really nice thing. So that's why we have men in the house, and I really appreciate that. In a world where our lives, learning, activism, and relationships increasingly unfold online, digital spaces have become extensions to our homes, classrooms, and communities. Yet for many, especially women and girls, and gender-diverse people, these spaces have also become sites of harassment, intimidation, and violence, where you find people are creating AI images, stuff, and it causes depression to people and other issues, and there's the shame when it comes to you reporting the issue as a lady. So today's conversation is about shifting that reality. It's about recognizing many forms of digital violence can take, from cyberstalking, non-consensual sharing of images, and online bullying, to the subtle but deeply harmful ways that technology is used to silence. It is about reporting, understanding our rights, knowing where to go for help, pushing for systems that respond with dignity, compassion, and accountability. One thing I can say is that we need to spread awareness among the students. There's a lot that the students don't know. Leave alone, the other day we had a case of abortion, a 5-month fetus that was thrown in the dustbin just around the school, sorry to say. And we also have cases where in my position, someone will ask you, hey, Marion Pitu inaweza toa ball, such issues. And it's people in the university level, you see. And we can't judge them for that. So we have to create awareness among the students. And I was sharing with Patricia the other day that the transition between high school and campus, nowadays it's around 6 months. So there's no time to learn and get to engage with your parents and people outside to get to learn a lot of issues revolving around being a woman. So there's a lot that we need to learn. So it is about reporting, understanding our rights, knowing where to go for help, and pushing for those systems that respond to our issues as ladies. And above all, it is about reclaiming our online spaces. It's about asserting that safety, respect, and freedom are not optional extras. They are fundamental rights, both offline and online. It is about creating a digital world where everyone can speak, learn, and express themselves. As we begin today's panel and today's discussions, we are joined by voices who bring lived experiences. We have Honorable Hannah here. I'm pretty sure she experienced all forms of GBV, and she'll get time and share her experiences. Their insights will help us reflect, rethink, and reimagine what safe digital spaces look like and what role each of us can play in building them. Thank you for being here, for lending your voice, and for committing to a future where our digital spaces are not battlegrounds, but platforms to empower women for change. Let's begin this conversation. So I would like to invite Michelle Kerubo, the panel. Michelle Kerubo. And again, if you also have questions for the panelists, after the discussion, you'll have a chance for Q&A to ask your questions as you reflect on the topic of GBV. And trust you me, everyone has a role. Even if you don't have a position in any organization, you as a woman, change begins with you. If I do something, if this other person does something that reflects ending GBV, we're going to end this animal called GBV. Okay. Thank you for that. Maybe you can play some music.
Well, now is the time many of you have been waiting for. It's time to bring the panel discussion. And before it starts, we would like our very own Mheshimiwa to come and address us, tell us hi, na tujulie hali. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce a visionary leader and champion for gender justice. Our keynote speaker is an accomplished public servant with extensive experience in government, economic development, and international policy. She has served Kenya at senior levels, including as political advisor in the Oceans and Blue Economy Office, and experience brings a global perspective to national challenges. She is also a mother, an advocate for survival
positions. We want to have the first women president coming from institutions and coming from trained women where when they make policy decisions, it affects every single person. And I'm so happy to have met your chair. Professor, you have impressed me. What you have been able to do in leading these young women, taking them around the country is commendable, and setting such an office. I am a strong believer that an empowered woman means an empowered nation. And when we are able to do that, we can work together. We can address any single situation in the country. I'm also here with our treasurer, Simama Usalimia Watu.
Institution, and today I'm just excited. Now, I don't know whether I'll have another time or just summarize and finish. Okay.
And she's also running for governor. Huh? We want to encourage women in leadership. Vie, try, be mentored under any political office that you're able to do that, because then what you learn, you're able to leapfrog and get to so many areas. I remember when I was in office, one of the things that I did was work with Kenyatta University because that is what was in our county. It was a bit more Nairobi, but closer to Kiambu. And for all the programs that I ran, I had somebody from the university to be able to come in and understudy, help me run programs. So you can see that truly I do believe in working with students and ensuring that even policies that are made from an informed perspective. They're made from a perspective that can be able to empower. With those few remarks, allow me now to do my speech. Distinguished guests, friends, survivors, and all those who choose courage over silence. Today we gather not just to mark a date on a calendar, but to confront a reality that is breaking our young women, silencing their voices, and slowly eating away at their dreams. Gender-based violence is no longer hiding in dark corners. It is happening in broad daylight, on our screens, in our universities, in our homes, and in political spaces. Oh, thank you. It is happening in broad daylight, on our screens, in our universities, in our homes, and in the political spaces where decisions are made. And for many young women in higher education, the violence does not bruise the skin. It bruises the soul, it humiliates, isolates, and destroys from the inside out. As a young mother of 3 young women, I'm not young, but I like to imagine that I am, but as a mother of 3 young women, I carry another kind of fear. A fear that sits in my chest, that keeps me awake at night, that makes me question the world we are preparing them for. I hear the stories that my daughters bring home. They're in university. Stories of bullying, misogyny, and cruelty that happen right inside our classrooms. Places meant to be sanctuaries of learning and respect. I hear how some male students casually laugh when the topic of sexual violence comes up. How they reduce the trauma of rape to comments like, don't bring back her virginity, atadu, as though a woman's worth is found between her legs and not in her mind, her heart, her humanity. And what makes me shake to the core is that these words are normally spoken openly in the presence of female professors, who must not only swallow their anger, their own memories and pain, because the same systems that silence survivors also silence the women trying to educate them. There are moments, and many of them, when I have had to hold myself back from marching into those lecture halls and standing in class and asking the young men making those comments, if this were your sister, if this were your mother, if this was someone you loved, would your laughter still come so easily? As a mother, it breaks me. As a leader, it enrages me. As a woman, it reminds me why we must fight without apology. Because of misogyny, because if misogyny is allowed to grow in our classrooms, it will flourish in our courts, in our workplaces, in our politics, and in our homes. If disrespect is tolerated at 18, violence becomes justified at 28. And that's why we have so many cases of femicide in relationships. It doesn't matter, somebody believes they own you because they paid fare or they bought you lunch. And if suffering of women becomes a joke in a lecture hall, then rape becomes a footnote. Misogyny becomes a culture, and justice becomes optional. We cannot allow this. We cannot raise our daughters in a world where there is pain, where their pain is a punchline and trauma is debate material. We must demand better from our sons, from our institutions, and from ourselves. Digital violence is only one face of a larger monster. It grows in a world where women are told, day after day, that their bodies, their choices, their voices, and their dreams belong to someone else. I know this because I have lived it. When I stepped into politics, I hoped to serve with honesty, courage, and conviction. But the first question I was asked was not about policy. It was whether my husband had given me permission. A grown woman, a leader, a citizen, reduced to someone's property. I was told I could not qualify to run because I had not carried a basin, a mutungi of water to the maternity ward. As if my worth as a leader depended on performing rituals rather than changing lives. I watched my female colleagues discover ballot boxes stuffed with condoms, not by accident, but as a calculated act of humiliation. A reminder that in politics, women's bodies are weaponized against them. And even when we fought to speak, the doors were slammed shut. I once visited a girls' school and showed them that their dreams are valid. But I was denied the chance to speak because only the men were allowed to address the girls in a girls' school, Alliance. These are not simple acts of discrimination. These are forms of violence. Violence against dignity, against dreams, against hope. And yet in all this, I have also seen beauty, resilience, strength that refuses to bow. During my term as County Member of Parliament, I witnessed what happens when a community chooses healing over harm. We built a community empowerment center in Kiambaa, a place where, if you take a look at statistics that are given, there's a county record that comes out with regards to the types of crime that go on, petty, stealing, rape, those kind of incidents. And that's why I chose to build a community center in that area, because it had the highest crime rate. And some of those crimes were just based on hunger, lack of opportunity. Now, that center that I built had a recording studio, a library, because there was so much incest and rape. And I wanted to create a space where young people could breathe, dream, create, and simples. A place where they could step away from judgment and step into possibility. I helped rescue girls who were being sexually abused and pimped out sometimes by their own parents. I held their hands. I listened to their silence, and I learned that brokenness does not define them. Courage does. We equipped 90 schools with learning materials and specialized furniture for children with learning disabilities. Because a child with a disability should not have to fight twice. Once against their condition and against society's neglects. Some of these children had been tied up at home and locked up in their homes because their parents had no option. They had to go to work, and they couldn't afford to find a caregiver to help those children. Not out of cruelty, but out of despair. So when this equipment was supplied, we changed their lives, and their parents were finally able to go to work. to earn, to hope. And this violence is not just what is done to people. It is also what is denied to them: opportunity, dignity, freedom, and choice. And now in the digital age, violence comes with hashtags, with anonymous accounts, with propaganda that spreads like fire. Hate is being manufactured, division is engineered, communities are torn apart by lies designed to make us fear one another. And that is why critical thinking is no longer a skill. It is a survival tool. It protects us. It reminds us to question, to pause, and to ask, who benefits from this lie? Who gains from dividing us? Whose silence is being purchased by fear? When young people learn to think critically, propaganda loses its power. Hate loses its, and violence loses its hiding place. I focus on this because we are all aware, when we take a look at the vitriol that is now on social media, pitting this against the other, lies and all manner of violence, whether it's against media personalities, whether it's against anybody in leadership, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like it's been created as a digital weapon. And its impact is displays nudity and pornography. It may be time. Is it today or yesterday that Australia becomes the first country to shut down social media for those who are under 15, for young children? They will disable all the accounts because it is too toxic. We may talk about freedom, but we also need to understand freedom without mandatory TFGBV policies in all universities, digital safety and ethics offices to support survivors, media literacy and critical thinking integrated into education, stronger laws against digital abuse and deep fake exploitation. Anonymous reporting channels that protect the survivors is critical. Peace building and intergroup cohesion program, and a culture of zero tolerance for misogyny in all forms, digital, political, and institutional. We have made so many gains as a country. We have so many examples of women leaders in education, engineering, medicine, law, business, politics. Our own Honorable Phoebe Asio, Dr. Muthoni Likimani, Justice Effie Owo, Mekatilili Wamenza, Field Marshal Muthoni Kirima, Captain Koki Mutungi, Brenda Yota, Teresa Karani, pioneers in geological and technical engineering, crucial to Kenya's geothermal sector, Lupita Nyong'o, Martha Karua, Charity Ngilu, Senator Beth Mogo. All these people that I have mentioned, among very many across the country, have all faced discrimination in all its forms and all manner of obstacles to become the top within their field. They have been resilient and they have made impacts in Kenya. Let us strive knowing that trailblazers have gone forward and we can and will make an impact. Don't give up, don't quit. To every young woman who has been silenced, mocked, doubted, dismissed, or violated, your voice matters, your dreams matter, your life matters. To every survivor, you are not defined by what was done to you. You are defined by the courage it takes to continue. And to every leader in this room, we must build a world where safety is not a privilege, dignity is not an option, and equality is not an aspiration, but a lived reality. A world where a girl can dream without fear, A young woman can lead without apology. Where digital spaces uplift rather than destroy. Where no child is tied and locked away. Where no woman is asked for permission to be herself. Let us unite for truth, for safety, for justice, for dignity, because dignity is non-negotiable, and every woman deserves to live free. Thank you very much for listening to me. Let me introduce my deputy. This is the deputy chair, Jubilee Women League Party. Does she look like you guys? Say hi.
Hi, everyone. Oh, I'm seeing Marianne. She was my chair while I was in campus. It's so good to see that WOSWA has grown and it's continuing to grow. I'm an alumni of the University of Nairobi. I went through School of Journalism and Media Studies. It's a pleasure to see you young people take up space and be part of important conversations. And also we have a small car women league for the young women. For those interested, please join us. Jubilee is a great party. So yeah, have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. And here I see, wow, this is wonderful. Hi, Geraldine. How are you? She was our trainer. My vice trained us in media. You know, the beauty about bringing in young women to be mentored is that we also learn from them, because you can't be, in my native tongue, there's something called Jahikyo Birire. You can't be everything, the know-it-all of everything. You must bring along those who are better equipped and those who know, so that we can all move forward. One of the things that we also said we would introduce is the intergenerational discussions. They're very important, because my style of parenting is very different from what is required today. And for my nieces that I see, the Gen Alphas, theirs are at another level, you know? So we cannot do things the old way and expect the same results. We must allow you guys to have your space and to be leaders in your own right. God bless you, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Anna, for that speech. Can we give another round of applause? It was very inspiring, and might I say eye-opening. And I would like to agree with one thing that you said. Women in positions of power often face a lot of unnecessary sexualization. For example, even though people do not like her, Honorable Karen Nyamu faces a lot of over-sexualization by people, and it's not right. She does not warrant that, no matter how much her opinions may not be good, no matter how much we do not agree with them, it is wrong. Furthermore, I would also like to agree with the statement that you said, that survivors should know it is not their fault. It really is not their fault. They were victims of circumstance, and we hope that they will be able to rise above that. And it also gives us a challenge as a society to stop the stigma surrounding GBV. Many people feel like it's their fault, and it really is not. We should rise above this, have conversations about it, be open about it. That way, we can be able to foster growth, foster unity. And even in the fight against GBV and the larger femicide, it should not be about women fighting against femicide. It should be all of us fighting against femicide, all of us fighting against GBV. It's the only way to ensure that this fight will be sustainable, and in the long run, there will not be any resentment between the two groups. Now, I would like to invite our panelist, Michelle Kerubo. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hi, guys. I hope you are enjoying the discussion so far. I believe we've had quite a lot and we've learned quite a bit. So we are entering our afternoon session. From awareness to action. That is the goal of this panel discussion that we are about to get into. And we have gathered quite amazing panelists who are well versed in this topic, and they can guide us well, and you can get quite a few things so that anytime you do face a challenge like this, you know what to do, right? So our first panelist is going to be our very own Vice President of the University of Nairobi. Let's welcome her with a round of applause. Purity Mutua.
Hi, I think I've introduced myself before. I'm Purity Mutua. I'll be glad to be hosted in this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So our next panelist, I think I'll give you a bit about them and then they can come themselves and give you their names. So our next panelist is a seasoned cybersecurity professional and currently serves as a principal officer, cybersecurity GRC at Safaricom PLC. She leads critical initiatives that strengthen compliance with both internal and international cybersecurity policies and standards. With a proven track record of guiding major projects, she ensures robust security controls are built into products and services before go live. She holds a bachelor's degree in computer science and a master's degree in information security, alongside industry-leading certifications including Certified Information Security Manager, Certified DevSecOps Professional, and Certified Ethical Hacker Master, among others. Passionate about empowering the next generation, Tracy actively mentors young professionals, especially women, helping them navigate and thrive in the cybersecurity landscape. Beyond her professional accomplishments, she's an avid mountaineer with a deep love for nature. So let us welcome our next panelist.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, her voice gives much power to the profile. Yeah, so my name is Tracy Magoma. I work as a principal officer, cybersecurity at Safaricom. I am so glad to be here today. And I feel like my contribution as a woman who works in technology is to ensure these digital tools being built, we take into consideration such crimes like the TF, to having a discussion around that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next panelist is the Marketing Outreach Lead at Safe Online Women Kenya, an organization committed to creating safer digital spaces for women and girls. I believe she knows herself. Yes, so she can introduce her name.
How powerful. Good morning, everyone. My name is Redempta Modoni from Safe Online Women Kenya, and I'm deeply honored to be here. I cannot wait to continue to advance the conversation surrounding technology, facilitated gender-based violence. At Safe Online Women Kenya, we are an organization that focuses on advancing and advocating for safer spaces and giving girls the tools that they need to have to have their platforms or to have safety online. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And last but not least, our final panelist is the head of state commendation, cyber forensics expert, and a member of the International Violent Crimes Against Children FBI Task Force. I welcome let me not say his name, but I welcome him, our only male in this space. Yes.
Hello. Detective Lawrence Okoth. I work at the DCI Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit at the DCI headquarters with a background of computer science, doing cyber investigation and forensic analysis at the Child Protection Unit. And we exist to ensure that the cyberspace is safe for your innovation, learning, and you enjoy the products of technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As this discussion begins, I'd like to have this removed so that we can see our panelists well. Yes, so as I had mentioned, our discussion is focused on taking action. We are all aware of whatever crisis it is we are facing, right? And so we have invited people who can come tell us how we can deal with this. After you have undergone this, what are you supposed to do? So the topics that we shall work on are 4. Number 1, identifying and reporting digital violence. Number 2, knowing our rights and protections online. 3, chain of custody for digital violence online. And 4, staying safe online. Okay, so as we begin, what is technology-facilitated gender-based violence? We keep hearing of this animal. What is this animal? So we'd first like to begin by defining what TFGBV.
I mean, hostel number, yes, they will share your phone number, and then they will tell someone. What do you usually say in the Kenyan context? We say, tumtumie salamu. Now that is bullying, and we have normalized it, so much so that when one of the moderators talked about Karen Nyamo and saying, you know, you might not agree with a politician, but you do not need to attack her online. So doxing is one. Number 2, that is what happens when someone is when their images are shared. Another thing is cyberbullying. This one is basic. This is so normalized in Kenya. Mambo ya kukunywa chai. Wacha tukunywe chai yake leo, eh? Anko. So, cyberbullying. I mean, I don't even know where to start about this. Even in campuses, when in WhatsApp groups, in the class groups, if someone goes through something, instead of being, you know, our sister conversation, if it or who is being bullied. So that is also another form of TFGBV. Another one is when now spywares in someone's phone. Maybe you have a partner, and I know that in campus this happens, and so they put a tracker. They know where you are. Imagine that is not okay. Do not normalize that. Do not look at it and say, oh my God, he loves me, she loves me so much, she wants to know where I am at all times. No, your information, your data.
So we need to check on that, yeah? As you're texting your friend and you're like, have you heard? Have you seen? Wacha nikutumie. There is a very thin line between bullying and tea. So be very careful, okay? Yeah, don't become a criminal and you don't know. Yeah. So next, we are going to invite Purity to tell us, as a student, that and if you've been here, you know how much politics there is in your end. It's very serious. It's very tough. In our compete in national politics. So there's quite a lot that she has faced, and she can tell us about it. Her views on it, how the institution, how UON itself supports or discourages this sort of thing, and anything else she feels she might add as a student leader. So welcome, Purity.
Thank you very much. My involvement in politics is spanned around 3 years now. And how I started was someone saw me and said, I see something in you. I don't know what it is, but I see something. And that something culminated into me entering the political space. And before I became vice president, I was the secretary general of my faculty, the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. And I remember the initial resistance was an SG should be an angry Luo man. And truthfully, because if you see it in the political dynamics, they expect that I should be shouting, I should be a rebellious person. And so to their shock when they see a campaign poster and it's a small polite girl, and she's a kamba, hana maneno na watu, and the initial resistance was that that team will fail because a girl can't be an SG. And for a long time, I had to practice hata salamu. Wakinkuja naongelesha boys na wasalimia, because politics at this time is truthfully male-dominated. And so what it looked like was kupanga strategy in the middle of the night with boys, and I was the only girl. And I remember my parents were very worried because they were wondering, what am I doing in the middle of the night with close to 30 men in a room discussing how to make this work? And so the political strategy looked like that. And unfortunately, when I was vying, I always thought that I had to become a man to win an election. But now, fast forward, after my SG tenure, I did exceptionally well, especially when it came to written communication. Because you can be very good with shouting comrades power, but when it comes to substance, there's nothing to it. And so we were able to accomplish. In fact, the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine was the best performing faculty in my tenure. And we had done close to 20 events, surpassing any other faculty, and most of them were partnerships led, because when I joined politics, I wanted to bring in partners. And so when I got into vice president's politics, I joined a Team Fresh Perspective, and truthfully, again, the cycle repeated, but this time I was informed. And if you check even the campus leadership, and so we went into office, and I remember even in the debate, if you watch the UNSA debate, those are big given handouts. And I'm really honored to be under the presence of Honorable Anne, because I know what it feels like, especially in those positions, because they say those positions are token positions to the quote-unquote girlfriends of politicians or side chicks of politicians, which is not true. And so there was a big slander campaign. However, for me, I've not had many issues with the public eye. I have done very good PR to go through the motions, because I came in the team as a technocrat. Most of my team members were politically inclined. I am the one who comes in for the corporate engagements, for advocacy, diplomacy, and so there's a lot of partnerships that we've built so far. One of the key things I've been able to do at University of Nairobi in the continental conversation. And so what is happening now is that University of Nairobi is in the epicenter of the Pan-African Student Leaders Forum. And this was something we created after a trip we had to go to South Africa, and we realized that a lot of the issues we go through are the same. We fought for accommodation fee to reduce, and it happened. They're fighting for accommodation fee right now. And in Ghana is the same. And so some of the conversations that we're having now is how UON can be angled in a position that we are a continental voice, because they value a lot of the things that we do. And I'm really glad that you mentioned intergenerational conversations, because some of the things that we're doing now is I partnered with NCIC, and we're having something they call transgenerational conversation. And so what that does is we stop stratifying the youth as wale watoto, hawana tabia, you see. But we are actually advocating for real, genuine conversations, because the median age in this country is around 19. So you can imagine ignoring the majority of the population. And so I agree, I have experienced in my own way, especially when I was SG. Right now, I've been operating on a clean slate, but I know they can come for us. But I've seen it before. In our WhatsApp groups, you find the kind of conversations that are shared, the stickers, the viewances. And unfortunately, what has happened is we're bullied into silence. Because dominantly, people think that when you talk about this conversation, you're a thought leader, you know? And that is not the case. And so leadership has been really roped in with the gender stereotypes. But truthfully, I believe that we focus, for me as a student leader, I focus on what I need to do, what the conversation looks like, because it happens. We have policies in place, but I think we'll touch on that moving forward in the conversation. But yes, I have experienced it with the gender stereotypes, but I do believe in resilience and overcoming those obstacles. Thank you.
An institution to address this issue, or what would you advise them to do? Yeah.
One of the initiatives that I've started in my tenure is, we call it the My Sister's Keeper. My Sister's Keeper was because UNSA in itself is the largest student body in the country, and I think even in East Africa. We have 100 Congress members, bigger than any other SRC across the continent, actually. We have quite a number of female student leaders, but we don't necessarily put ourselves together to talk about women's issues. We just do what we can do in the faculty representation and the council. And so what I did was to bring the ladies together. We have policies in place. We have the sexual harassment policy 2022. We have another one, basically the procedures of reporting sexual harassment. But that information has been locked up in the books. No one really knows what to do. When I was in second year, I had an own case for myself. A lecturer literally used to call me at odd times in the night and ask very odd questions. And you see, that comes very subtly. At that time, I said, thank God he's come for someone like me. Because at least I know what to do in this situation. But how much so a girl who's very quiet probably has maybe self-esteem issues or whatever stage of life she's in. It will go the whole way without anything being done. What we want to do as My Sister's Keeper is to create an awareness campaign. It is mandated for the Dean of Students to create information, education, and communication materials, IEC, so that even first years are supposed to go through sensitization of the processes of reporting sexual harassment, whether it is student to student, student to staff, non-staff to student, even stranger to student. One of the challenges I see WOSWA going through is literally tyranny of numbers, because being in the University of Nairobi, that means you're dealing with 60,000 students, and half of that are females. And so usually surveillance and mapping out some of those issues are real. The most recent case was the lady in Kikuyu campus who was murdered by a man who I don't even think they were in a relationship, really. It was just a rogue man. We've had cases of him doing that to other ladies as well. And so on my end, we were working with DCI to trace for that lady because she had been missing for a month before we found out that she had been killed. And so what had happened as a reaction was, one, we necessitated creating committees, a security committee, so that when anything security concerns, because this became a whole other issue just beyond GBV. And so we had to create committee in that campus. However, as My Sister's Keeper, we did the self-defense program. And so for the first time, we had a program in KNH. We brought the ladies together, a few of them, and they were trained in partnership with Lady Askari to defend themselves in the eventuality of any security concern. And what had happened is, because I posted all that training, and you see girls, we had all kinds of ladies. We had Indians, we had Muslim ladies with hijabs, we had Kenyans, international students who had come to be trained, all this for students. And I remember the reaction to that video on my status was, you're training women to beat men. How come, why are you're now perpetrating GBV to the other side now, because now we've been doing it to the women, now you want women to do it to the men. And it just showed the kind of shock and the fear that was perpetrated by just the thought that women were being trained to do self-defense. But I pray that there will be a day that we don't have to get there. But we have the situation as is now. And so we are working towards pushing for education and awareness. We delayed the 16 days of activism, but it's going to come, where we're going to give information on these policies so that you know. It's called Campus Yako, Policy Yako. It's an awareness campaign for people to understand that there's actually rules and regulations to protect you from your lecturer who's refusing to give you marks if you don't sleep with him, from a student who's put you on chokehold because he has information of you that you don't want to be shared, from someone who actually even has issues from home. Because we've had students who are going through sexual harassment from their brothers, their fathers, but you see that is an family issue that spills over into an institutional problem because they are our student. And so we need awareness, but be aware that we have UNSA representatives in every faculty. You're supposed to be able to report. We have WOSWA doing an amazing job in creating awareness campaigns like this for people to understand the regulations present. And we have the Office of the Dean of Students. So the Dean of Students is there to give people the support that is needed and even reporting some of these cases because they should be reported. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. So as students at your end, I believe we have all heard that in case you do go through this, there's channels for you to talk. Basically, your friend may not help you. You know, us just talk. Your friends won't help you. Reach out to people who can help you. Go to also go to the dean. Don't fear their offices, okay? So what to report the evidence, right? And of course you report. So I will invite our dean to give us the custody. Give us the chain of custody for this evidence, and he'll tell us all the do's and the don'ts and everything necessary we need to do, even as you're building your case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I must say it's very fundamental to really talk about TV. Yeah, I'm saying it is a very fundamental point in time to discuss this kind of conversation around TFGBV because from where we sit, actually I want to tell you it is not only girls, even men are going through TFGBV and it is cutting across. So one thing I want to encourage you is that you need to report because perpetrators are really maximizing on your unawareness or fear to threaten you not to report because they want to continue and normalize the abuse. So we want to tell you that it is just in order to report, and some of them will tell you even if you report, the police will do nothing. So you normalize and you keep silence and you don't report. And once you report, because you are undergoing a certain abuse and you have the evidence in your phone, which is digital in nature, we encourage you that you should know how to report. One, if you feel that at times people delete, they send you and delete, we tell you to screenshot it and leave it on your phone and don't share. Then when reporting, we have seen even some victims or survivors, they are going through these things, but they don't know they are being exploited or abused. So a friend or someone who can recognize there is an abuse that is taking place can report on your behalf. And DCI has taken an initiative and come up with an anonymous number that is called Fichua Kwa DCI. So when people call that number, it is free, it is toll free, and you are able to report. We will take actionable information from that report. You don't need to identify yourself because we also realize people don't want to associate themselves with cases that they feel are not, they are not part of. So we encourage them to report on behalf of the victim, and that number is 0800 722 203. you save that number, you will notice that it has a WhatsApp capability that is also anonymous. So you can choose to share something that you want to make DCI to know so that they will act on it. And we encourage you to make use of that. I hear at times people saying, I reported to a station, there was no action that was taken. You can as well take a screenshot of that OB number and share on WhatsApp of DCI and give just your concern. And with that, you will see DCI taking up that matter, following it up, and it will be dealt with. So we encourage reporting because it is the probable cause that makes DCI or the police to act on cases. Because you can't just come and start snooping on people's phone looking for offenses, and it has to be reported. So after reporting, when you have that evidence with you on screen, you can screenshot it. You can also share the link of that screenshot or the file itself. Then we will analyze, because it will refer to the appropriate unit to deal with that. So if it comes to our unit where we work, we will analyze and try to build case around this case, because evidence, logically, from the phone you can see you have evidence. But to prove and present that case in court, that evidence has to be processed. It has to go through a certain protocol that qualifies it to be evidence. So through a forensic lab, it will be processed and preserved or processed as evidence, and a report is made and underpinned by a certificate of evidence as required by law. Then it will be presented in court. And when you report, you also make sure that you don't share or keep engaging the person who is perpetrating against you. Because at times, if you engage, you also commit other offenses in the name of seeking or protecting yourself. So the ideal thing to do is to report to the authority for action. Another thing I want to let you know is that TFGBV is something that is happening online, and at times it calls for networked attack. It is there, and the people who are not even party to this start attacking you online. So you feel scared and you even disassociate yourself and disconnect yourself from the social media. It is wrong, and we encourage reporting. And once it is reported, we view all those who are attacking online as perpetrators, and they will be traced and dealt with. But the most important thing is that you regain your dignity, and you are able to resiliently take yourself back to the internet and do what is right, and you can even innovate. Some of you are singers, some of you have different talents, even content creators, but you can't content create if you are being bullied. So you will fear to even do what is right. So we encourage reporting, and you appreciate the system and existence of DCI. All this is done to just ensure you are safe. Another thing we see is identity fraud. You find that you come to the university as a fresher, someone introducing you into channels on how to make money so quickly. They take your ID, register, and start doing some businesses, which is not right. So when we look at that, we find that a person is arrested, and you find him with or her with IDs, different accounts, because these platforms, they have their accounts, they have their policies around their platform. So if something is fraudulent, they block. So if that person is blocked, they tend to look for another ID to register another account to continue doing the offense. So you have to be aware of this kind of crime. Your identity, your details need not to be given to anybody that you don't know what kind of business they are doing with your phone. So in terms of chain of custody, once it is given to the police, it is processed, and it is given to court or supplied to court to prove a case in the form of cyber forensic report. And a cyber forensic expert is the one to present that. So going and downloading and burning on a CD or printing from a cyber, it will not be qualified as a evidence. So it has to go through those processes. And we encourage you to report and report to the competent authority to deal with your cases. And the good thing that I've learned is that you have platforms and ways of dealing with this within the institution. If the institution can also make sure their referral channels is strengthened to also, if they receive reports, they are able to share with the authorities to follow up, then we can be acting on cases that are very, we can prioritize and deal with those cases. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We have had. We will try to raise this with our institution to try to create these referrals for how to report these cases. Now, we have had quite a lot on how to deal with this TFGBV once you face it. And so now I want us to learn about protecting ourselves. You know, prevention is better than cure. So I will invite Tracy to tell us a bit about digital hygiene. How do we stay safe online? How do we avoid this thing?
Okay, thank you. So while growing up, our parents used to tell us, don't talk to strangers, right? I am sure most of us, if not all. It is something that was inbuilt. As a child, if you're playing in the estate, you've been sent to the shop, and a stranger walks up to you, you are told avoid them, don't give them audience. Especially as a young girl, and a grown man walks up to you, it was like by default, don't talk back to him. Go engage an adult. Now, when it comes to the digital space, we engage a lot with strangers. So we are putting ourselves out there, and it's quite risky. So a case like cyberbullying, you'd find it's someone who does not know you. You've just posted a picture of yourself, but they decide to body shame you. Yeah, and most of them, for me, I feel like they are cowards, yeah, because you'd find they have pseudo profiles. And to them, it's easy to do that because they feel like there's lack of accountability and consequences. So they're like, I'll just say something bad to Tracy, hakuna mali atanipeleka, yeah. But luckily, at least we've learned we have fichua kwa DCI. And from where I sit, in terms of law and regulations, we have the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. So if you report and we have such laws, the person gets to be prosecuted. We also have the Kenya Data Protection Act, so we rely on that a lot. So back to how we protect ourselves online, I will try be as candid as possible. For me, number one, have an online profile if you really have to. Just because your friends are on Instagram, TikTok, all those social media sites, doesn't mean you have to be there. Personally, I don't have a social media presence. It's normally, people find it weird because I work in tech, and you're not on TikTok. Yes, I'm not on TikTok. Because I asked myself, why do I need to be on TikTok? I didn't find a reason. But you'll find me on LinkedIn for professional purposes, yeah? Because I need to network with guys who work in my industry. I need to connect to future employers, yeah? So just have an online profile if you need to. If you have a business that you need to market online, that makes sense, yeah? If you are a content creator, it's a profession now, that makes sense. But you're just a normal person like me, and you're really looking for the high number of followers, likes, just to feel good. And those are just strangers. They don't know you. Yeah. Let your friends and family acknowledge you. Yeah. Number 2, password hygiene. How do we handle our passwords? I think you've had this. It must not be new. Yeah. My date of birth is 28th December. So highly likely my password has a 2812 somewhere. Okay, that was not true. That's not my birthday, and that's not a character in my password. Yeah, so when you're creating passwords, don't use such known information. Yeah, don't use your partner's name, your child's name, your pet's name. Yeah, try to use random stuff. I actually use passwords in my mother tongue because who's gonna crack something in the Kisi language? It's so difficult, yeah? And then we have multi-factor authentication. So if someone comes across your password, it will be easy for them to gain access to your account. But if you implement a second layer, at least most platforms do that, ensure you enable it. In as much as they get your password, they will need an additional, let's say, code that they don't have. When you're posting stuff online, yeah, to avoid what I've learned today is called image-based sexual abuse. I was going to use the other word that we've been told not to use. As ladies, as girls, let's be careful what we post online. I was listening to some podcast. A young lady was saying that it's okay to post nudes. Forgive me, I may be old school. Yeah, Mheshimiwa is old school like me. No, it's not okay to post nudes. It's not okay to send someone your nudes because you never know. You're just giving them an opportunity to exploit you. Yeah, they will have higher power. So in the next few years, you're no longer with this person. They will use that. I have a friend who was a victim, and it was a really difficult case to handle. Yeah, so be careful what you post. And besides such images, you may be posting your personal information. I am here today. I will take a nice photo. Please take nice photos. I will post on LinkedIn. But then as I am here, I post the photo and I put the location. I am at UN Towers. Like, I'm literally telling everyone in the world where I am right now. And you'd find someone malicious will use that information if they want to harm me, probably on my way home. Or now they know, oh, she's not in the house. Get access to my house, you get. So in such cases, advice I give, post that image after you've left the place. So we've left here, the event is done. Now then you can go ahead and post the learnings, etc. Don't do it in real time, yeah? I bet on platforms like Instagram, I'm sure it has the geotagging thing. Pardon me, I'm not on Instagram, I may not know. But yeah, ensure when you post, you do it later, not at the time. And don't post your personal information like phone numbers, emails, yeah? Lastly, when you go to hotels, you find they have TV and you have to log in probably to access YouTube, Netflix. In such cases, always remember to sign out. I have gone to hotels and then you find the person who used the room there, their Gmail is still logged in. Imagine someone having access to your email. We rely a lot on our emails, yeah? Accessing government resources, schools resources, personal stuff, yeah? If you're storing your images on Cloud Google Photos, they are on your email. So imagine someone having control of that. Same thing, you may need to use a cyber cafe or the computers within the school. Once you're done, ensure you sign out. Yeah, so those are some of the key things, or rather tips I would give to staying online. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Tracy. I believe we are all aware now. You need to change your passwords, guys. Najua passwords zenu haziko safe. Yes, so change your passwords. So our DCI mentioned a line we can use, Fichua na DCI. Yes. There are other platforms that we can use to report this. There's not just one, because there's quite a lot going on. And I would like to invite Purity Njoroge from Safe Online to tell us another means we can use for reporting. If you feel like this is not what you want to use, you can also try this and still end up huko. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Purity Njoroge. I am the Community Engagement Lead at Safe Online Women Kenya. And when I heard Redemptor is going to be part of this panelist, I took this opportunity to create awareness about an application that is being developed by Safe Online Women Kenya. So our digital tool is designed to help young women to report and respond to technology gender-based violence. A brief introduction about Safe Online Women Kenya is that it's an organization that is focused on making the digital spaces safer for young women. It started out as a response to the prevailing issues in TFGBV, such as cyberbullying, sextortion, blackmailing, impersonation, and other different forms of violence. Our mission at Safe Online Women Kenya is to raise awareness about TFGBV, provide support to the victims and survivors of TFGBV, and also allow women to navigate these platforms confidently and safely. So, what is the Safer app? The Safer app is a mobile and web application that is designed to make the internet safer for women and girls. It provides a secure and private environment in which one can report online harassment, get access to learning resources, and also receive community support from trained professionals. So some of the main components of the application is, number one, incident reporting. Let's say, for example, you have experienced TFGBV and you want mental health support from a trained professional. Where do you go? That's where the Safer app comes in. Through the application, a user can be able to describe what happened to them in their own words. They can select the platform in which it occurred, post the URL or the link, and also identify the type of violation that occurred to them. Additionally, you can choose to report for yourself or for someone else, and also report it anonymously. And through that, you'll be paired up with a guardian who is a trained professional from different scopes of work, who will be able to tell you the next steps and also offer you mental health support. Another component, apart from the incident reporting, is learning resources. Let's say, for example, your friend was not part of this discussion and they want to understand more about TFGBV. Using the application, you will be able to get simplified information on TFGBV, the different forms, and also understand the digital safety laws and the online best practices for a young girl to use. So the application is really easy to sign up, and the registration is seamless. And to access the app, you can go to any browser and search safeherkenya.org. Let me repeat that, safeherkenya.org. And from there, you'll be able to download the application and register for it. So yeah, I encourage each one of you to download the application, explore its features, and also share it with your friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Purity. So I believe we will all go and download this so that we can also know how to save ourselves, yes. We have now come to the conclusion of our very educative panel, and we would like to give a round of applause to our panelists for the wonderful job done. Yes, thank you so much for being quite good listeners. I believe you have all taken something that you're going to go with home, give to your friends. If you have a friend who's being bullied na amenyamazia, usimwache akufe peke yake, okay? As I conclude, I would like to invite our moderator, Alex, to carry us to our next section of the program, our final section of the program, and he will release our panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, for that wonderful session. Now we are going to go to the representative of Yoma, who is supposed to give us a presentation, but we'd like to urge our panelists not to leave. We have very nice gifts for you, so just stay calm. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue today's dialogue on preventing and responding to gender-based violence, it is vital to highlight tools that empower young people with knowledge and safe spaces. It is my pleasure to introduce Yoma, a UNICEF initiative that uses digital learning to equip youth with life skills, opportunities, and awareness that supports GBV prevention and promotes dignity and safety. Please join me in welcoming the Yoma team for their presentation. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, no problem. Okay, so now we'll invite the treasurer to give us a few words before we proceed.
Well, I'm really excited to be here, and I'm privileged to meet young women and boys, men like I'm seeing here. Mine will be very brief. When we talk of GBV, it does not only happen to small girls, or it happens even to old women like us. Are we together? Mine, I will just give an example of 2017 when I was going for an elective position. I wake up in the middle of the night. I check on my iPad, it is full of abusive words. Abusive. This one is being facilitated by the person we were contesting with. So he sends young men. Actually, the guy was even a politician, an MCA, a class 3 dropout. And this person has used all types of words that you can think of, describing what a woman looks like. So I think today I'm really privileged to hear that there are places where I could have reported. But now what I opted to. I just replied back and told him, this particular part that you have mentioned is just like that one of your mom. Because I felt this one was also going to make him feel the way I had felt. So he had used all parts that you can imagine of a woman. Then I wake up in the morning, I now get another call from somebody. This person is telling me, Jane, and you know, after indicating that, he actually deleted. So he deleted everything, and mine. So he now sends this to the team. So I get another call from somebody. Jane, do you know that you are a leader and you have used these particular words, and we are going to make sure that we take it. We can even take you to court. So now what I told the guy was that if you want to go to court, me, I'll not go to court. I'll go to KTN. I had just had a session on KTN. I'll go there, report on what we women in politics are going through. So I think he must have reported it to the master, and the master was made to now come and tell him, please calm. And it ended. But unfortunately, I'm an aspirant, and he has now taken the words that I had spoken and put them on the WhatsApp groups within the constituency. So you can imagine in every household, people who are now getting my replies, but without having the other content that I had gotten. So it can be very, very bad. But above from that, GBF happens even in our own houses. We mothers and fathers implicate it to our own children, because I remember in my master's, I had written about gender disparity in education. And we had even mentioned why. Actually today, I'm happy that there are more girls here than boys. But actually what happens in the house, when we were growing up, those places of shags, the girls were made to do a lot of household chores. And I would look, you know, and wonder, what are my brothers doing? Because me, I would wake up in the morning, I'm supposed to sweep, mom is going to weed, I have to go with her. From there now, I'm the strong woman, you'd be made to go collect firewood. I don't know whether you've heard about it. Go collect firewood, from there you have the water, it is upon you. Then mom remembers you don't have vegetables in the house, it is you to go and, so when does this girl sit down and read? At the tender age of 9, you are made to go through, what do we call it? FGM. And then immediately after FGM, when you are 15, 16, you have the suitors coming. Because during FGM, that is now you are made to work with the boys, and you know the boys are now. So there is actually a lot of things that happens to the girl child. And unfortunately, it would even get to the position when you now want to go to school. The girls would be made to marry, help in bringing dowry for the boys to be able to go to school or even marry. So this GBV, apart from the technological part of it that today I've enjoyed, it is there right in the grassroots. Then it comes to when you are looking for the position of this elective. Down there, I'm hoping after this, especially those who are in this line, please have it on radios and TVs. Let us educate the electorate down there to know that these positions are for everybody. Because the way they have been brought up, they believe these leadership positions are for men. So when you as a woman goes to look for this position, you'll be made to feel like you're actually intruding. Where on earth do you stand in front of all the men and tell them that you now want to be the leader? So that is why sometimes I like our very beautiful politician, Emilio Odhiambo, who calls herself. Yes, imagine that is the only way you'll survive in this space. So there is a lot. You'll even be asked whether you are married, and if you are married, are you married here? Hata kama you were brought up and your husband happens to have come from there, labda wali migrate. You know, you'll be told, now go get that from where you came from. But when it comes to taxes and your contribution to the locals, you are doing it there. So there is a lot. But I'm very happy, and I would really appreciate if this thing can cascade down to the grass. Let's have it even in secondary schools. And also, let's move. I'm a mother of 5. I'm a mother of 2 doctors, medical doctors, 2 engineers, and a political scientist. But I'm getting it into my own house because I'm finding my girls really coming up and my boys getting into the cartoon. So let's move together with the both gender, whatever. Above all, I think where all this starts is where we get to inheritance. I don't know whether it is only happening in my place. Do you know it has gotten to a level where a husband dies and leaves behind a widow? And the boys tend to believe that now that dad is not there, everything now belongs to us because this one is only but a woman. I don't know. Is it only happening from where I'm coming from? So gender-based violence is really rooted deeply. And the women, I would say the women actually, because if your husband will die and your assets be taken by your sons, not your in-laws, your own sons, who will now step up and say, after all, mom, what do you want to use this for? Now that dad is not there, I'm the man, I'm the one who is supposed to now take over. So it is actually deeply rooted. So let's have it. Let's have that voice really coming out. Asante.
Let's give her a better round of applause. That was amazing. Our honorable treasurer, hey. It's the ancestors. Our honorable treasurer, we thank you for that speech. And I hope what you've said will echo to all of us. GBV starts with us. It starts at the individual level. When you go to the rural areas where some of this information is not easily accessible, let's make it our part to go and educate them. Tell them about these things. Because as I said, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. Now I would like to welcome our presenters from Yoma. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Watu wa kuproject screen wakijipanga, I can kitu inanipiga show kama nina imagine. My name is Barbara from Yoma. Yoma stands for Youth Marketplace Agency, and it is a UNICEF platform, just as our host for the day had said. I would have wanted to project to you guys so that you can visualize what the platform looks like. But even before we get to that, nataka kupima kama mko rada. What did I say my name is? Who developed Yoma, the Yoma platform? Hey, ni nyinyi tu mnasikiza. Who? Okay. So the platform is basically a digital platform, and it is also global. So it is in different countries: Philippines, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria. I can't even count, and we're still trying to get it to countries that it has not been yet. But because the platform has not been around for a long time, we've been doing campus outreaches to get the young people to know about the platform, because the platform exists for the youth. So we do outreaches anywhere, even if you belong to an organization outside this campus where you feel like it would be impactful for people to know about it, you can let me know. You can reach out to me, and then we can organize how we can partner with your organization to just let people know that the platform exists and what it does. Are we ready? This is basically what I said, so I'm not going to repeat myself. So how the platform basically works is we have different kinds of opportunities on the platform. Opportunities can look like courses, they can be events, they can be internships, they can be jobs, and they can also be short-term work engagement. So those are the various, also social innovation challenges. So I think I'm not going to break down what you already know. For example, jobs. Jobs are like long-term, permanent engagements. Internships are short-term. I'm just going to expound. Social innovation challenges on our platform look like. We have different partners. We have so many partners, so many partnering organizations with us. So what they do is when they have open opportunities, they post them on our platform, and then you can get to apply for the opportunity through our platform. In the event that the partner requires us to also do shortlisting, you are an advantage, you are at an advantage, because if they posted the opportunity somewhere else, us, we only have the database of people who applied through the platform, so we'll shortlist from there. But I wanted to expound on social innovation challenges, which are, basically they tap into self-employment. And this could look like in niches like climate, it could be arts, it could be hackathons, anything. And for these challenges, my ancestors, for the challenges, there's usually money attached to it. So it could look like there's an environmental social challenge that's going on, at the end of which successful participants will get seed funding to start businesses in whatever category the social innovation challenge specifies. It could also look like we are running an art competition. UNICEF is running an art competition, and maybe they just want, like for example, now we've been having 16 days of activism ongoing. So maybe they will say, if you're a confident artist, we want you to make a drawing or a painting that depicts maybe the challenges of women, gender-based challenges specifically. And then you win a cash prize for that. So those are basically what social innovation challenges will look like, and also courses. I would like to mention that the courses on the platform are absolutely free. UNICEF ensures they have subsidized the fees because they are in partnership with whatever institutions. It could be organizations that give courses, it could be international universities that are giving scholarships, and maybe they're partial scholarships. But now for you, the whatever amount you would have had to cater for, UNICEF ensures it, settles it so that you access the opportunity free of charge. So these are basically our goals, just to ensure the youth get 21st century skills. They are able to build a digital portfolio, specifically with UNICEF being developers of the platform. Why this is a benefit is because in the event that UNICEF is looking for interns, for example, they have open internships, they will go to their platform first. Anytime you do a course, attend an event, you have an opportunity to upload that you have completed whatever it is. It could be a course, event, mostly that. So any certificate you get, if you go to an event, take a selfie or a photograph and you upload it on the platform, what that does is it builds, UNICEF is able to see how active you are, how active of a participant you are, and in the event that they have either an internship or an event that is exclusive, maybe they only want 20 members of the youth, and maybe it's a paid event. Of course, their internships are paid as well. They will consider people who have the most activity on the platform. To boost visibility to employers, like I mentioned, we have a lot of partners who post opportunities through us, and to enhance employability, both employment through organizations as well as self-employment through the social innovation challenges. And this is what our platform looks like. So we have different niches. So if you are into agriculture, AI and data analytics, business and entrepreneurship, so forth, and anything else that doesn't fall under the listed niches automatically falls under other. So you cannot miss out on something that would be of benefit to you on the platform. These are just some of the opportunities. See, for example, the AU was looking for interns, I think somewhere mid of this year. We advertised on the platform, people applied through the platform, we shortlisted them, forwarded their portfolios to the AU, and then those who are successfully picked, they are supposed to complete their internships this month at the AU. Also, I don't know, maybe I should update my screenshots on this presentation, but anytime any UN agency has open opportunities for the youth. So this could look like internships, or the UN also has youth advisory boards where basically they onboard young people to advise on what challenges they experience, and then from that, they use it to inform the programs they develop. So to be on the youth advisory board is free of charge. However, it has benefits to you as a person. Because, for example, if you come, you're trying to get a job at Yoma, for example, or anywhere else, and then we see that you have sat at the youth advisory board of any UN agency, of course that catapults you ahead of other people in terms of you being picked for said opportunity. This is a climate innovation challenge. STEM was looking for an intern. These are different opportunities that I pinpointed just to show you guys what's on the platform. So this is a climate innovation challenge. Most of the social innovation challenges we have fall under the line of climate and environment, and that is because, of course, you know, the UN is heavily focusing on global warming, and not just the UN, but many other organizations and agencies out there, including the government. So we were looking for young people who have ideas, and note I said ideas, not businesses, in these thematic areas. So if you have an idea that will solve a problem in WASH, will solve a problem in floods and drainage, or renewable energy, you applied, people applied for the opportunity. We took them through incubation, trained them so that even people who have never run a business before are not disadvantaged. And then at the end of which, I think last week, we had the recognition ceremony where we gave them seed funding for their innovations. Also, we had another one called Big Green. Big Green was really nice. I think close to 180 people were successful till the end, and they each got 5,000 USD, 5,000 US dollars to fund ideas they had. And notice how I'm saying ideas, meaning they won't disqualify you on basis of you don't have a business. They just want you to have the idea. They help you to properly develop it, develop a system for your business. They attach you with a mentor in your field. They even take you through financial classes. They teach you how to pitch your business idea so that you're not disadvantaged in any way to get whatever seed funding you're going to be given. After monitoring, we added 2,000 USD. So in total, successful participants got 7,000 USD to fund business ideas that they had. So once you complete any opportunity on the platform, we work with a reward system. So rewards could look like certification. Of course, that will be for courses you complete. They send you certificates to your emails. If it's maybe for some events or some activations, we give people airtime or bundles. For some other opportunities, we give people cash. So we can give you a cash prize, or we can give you, if it's something short term, we give you like chums here and there. And also we give vouchers that are redeemable at stores that exist within the country. Oh, next. Yeah, anyone with a question? Anybody with a question? If you don't have a question, I have a question. How much did I say people from the Big Green program were given as seed funding? I want someone from the back. How much? You? Yes, you? Yes, that's correct. You get this t-shirt. Let me think of another question. Who can tell me one thematic area that the Youth Climate Innovation Challenge was looking to cover? Someone from the back. Okay, I hear you at the corner. What? Yes, flood resilience. You get a t-shirt, pass it to him. Boy, I'm so poor at this. Who can tell me 2 types of rewards that we give youth for engaging with the platform? Yes, you? Yes, vouchers. You get this t-shirt. Anybody with a question? Yes? So courses vary in terms of duration. The good thing is durations are specified. I think it will, I don't know if it will take time but durations vary. So you could find in a tech space, for example, You see, like this opportunity, for example. Okay, it's okay. This opportunity, for example, says it takes 1 day. This one says 6 hours, 6 hours. But I think my hotspot is off. But they vary. So utasoma tu hapo kwa description how long it says it takes. And then you pick it depending on whether you can commit that long. One more person with a question. A guy. Okay, you can ask your question. Then any guy with a question. Some are pre-recorded, some are in document form, some are live. So everything is written on that description. One last question before I go. A guy to ask me a question. Okay, guys don't have questions. Any last person? I'm not trying to be gender biased. Yes. What is paid or not paid? Whether you have to pay for them or no, everything is free of charge. All right. Thank you so much for your time and for engaging with me. I am extremely grateful.
Thank you so much for that. We are welcoming any questions regarding the panel discussions that we had, and there's credit to be won for the people who will ask questions. So, questions to the panelists. Yes, you can come here and ask your question.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mariam. My name is Mary Michelle. I'm so glad to join you guys this afternoon. There's no other place I would rather be. So my question was actually directed to the DCI representative, but he's not around, so I think you'll just answer for him. When he was discussing about us being able to report our cases, I just thought of something. There are cases whereby the protagonist or the perpetrator or the abuser of the violator of a victim is a family member. Could be a dad, a brother, an uncle, or just someone within the family of the victim. And sometimes the women or guardians within the home are aware of the abuse, but are unable or unwilling to intervene because of financial dependence or other vulnerabilities, right? So in such situations, how does the DCI or how do the WOSWA, how do you guys, your protection strategies, how do you help the child's safety? Do you pursue accountability for everyone involved, every family member involved, and after the arrest of the perpetrators, do you provide support systems in place for the victims? For example, do you provide follow-up care such as counseling, therapy, or long-term monitoring to manage the damage that has already been caused? Or does your involvement end at the point of arrest? Thank you.
Mary, you're stuck with me. So I wouldn't speak in the capacity of DCI because clearly, but I will give you insights, okay? So I do know that sometimes your silence will be weaponized. So in the context where it's a child, now what you do is you're the adults. If you can see that this one is being abused in any way, even if it is not TFGBV, it's any form of gender-based violence, I believe you're supposed to take the responsibility to be the one to report it, okay? But now, when it comes to reporting, usually, even on WhatsApp, do you guys know how to report on WhatsApp? You go to the contacts, and then the chat, and then you report down there, right? Do you know how to report on Instagram? 3 dots, report, sindio? So I believe you know how to report in various platforms, but there's this thing called dark patterns when it comes to technology-facilitated gender-based violence. What this means is the processes are too long. Like, when do we know that Instagram has received the link that you sent saying someone, or the report saying someone was bullying you, cyberbullying you, and they are going to respond? Usually, they might or might not send you a message telling you they are taking this into account seriously, you know, and the same as WhatsApp. When you report, they usually send you a message saying they have taken the last 5 messages from that chat and they're gonna get back to you, you know, as soon as they can. Those are dark patterns, because you're not assured, and the processes rather are too long, too tedious, and you might not end up reporting. Okay. So there is the app. We talked about the Safer app. You can use it to even report for your friend, all right? You can anonymously report. You just go, copy the URL, and then copy and paste it there, and then in your own words, say exactly what happened. Then take screenshots and upload them there. You will find tools like information and blog posts that can help you deal with this, the online abuse. And you will also find guardians who are there from different scopes of, you know, you can find a lawyer, you can find someone from comms, anyone who can help you deal with online abuse. Okay, so there is support. And Usikimia also have they have a toll-free number. Do you need it, guys? Usikimia, you know, Jerry? Yeah, so Usikimia has a toll-free number. It's 0800 000 999. 0800 000 999. Then kuna ingine ya an organization called Kiktanet, Mlinzi. They also have a different number. It's 0758 947 550. 0758 947 550. So there are various forms or ways that you can report. You're not alone, and you being online is not a reason for someone to bully you. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you for that insight. And after this, you'll see me. You'll get 1,000 bob for credit. Any other question? Yes? You can come here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charlene, and my question is directed to Purity. So what is the school doing against TFGBV? Yes.
What is the school actually doing? One of the things that we have in the university is a very good policy on sexual harassment. So what that looks like is we're supposed to be having sexual harassment committees in every faculty. What I do know is that we can influence policy review. One of the things I would like to tell students is that you have the power to change policy. One of the challenges we have with UNSA sometimes, especially at a time like this, is that people assume that everything should be done just by us. We usually are a catapult or a catalyst for those decisions. So what has happened so far is that we have sexual harassment policies. It was done in 2022, the last revision. We have a gender policy 2008 that informed the sexual harassment policy 2022. They have annotated a bit about online use, but what is supposed to happen is that when that happens, you're supposed to report to the nearest sexual harassment committee member, which may be your dean or your faculty representative who's from UNSA, who has been put in that committee. What I do believe at this point, truthfully, is that it still needs to be revamped because it has been a bit dormant. But the conversation continues and starts from here. And that is why we are here, to inform policy. Because honestly, sexual harassment comes in different forms and it has evolved. You find that maybe the perpetrator, let's say quote unquote a staff member, is using viewances. How do you keep records of that kind of sexual harassment? Because we had the brick and mortar type of sexual harassment. Mtu anakushika vibaya or anakunyonga, whatever that may look like. But that is something that the school, initiated by My Sister's Keeper, is influencing policy. And even with Marion there, we have a conversation where we want to partner and influence policy changes so that you know exactly what we need to change, which I agree with you when it comes to TTFGBB is actually, I think it is annotated in the policy, but there's no clear framework on how to report online GBV. But there is a general framework as it is, that is present. So one of the things I'd say is inform yourself on the school policies. They're all online. Even if you check the code of conduct that you signed in first year, in those many pages where you're just printing because you wanted to finish and get admitted in the school, it actually has a clause about sexual harassment. Go back and check, because that is where your rights are. You have a right. You have many rights that you may not be aware of. A student should not talk to you the way they talk to you. A staff member also has to respect you and your boundaries, especially ladies who are class reps. Class reps tend to have a lot of interactions with different staff, and you find that we tend to have hotspots in that area. And so you have a right. I don't know if I've aptly answered the question, but I'd say this. We are having the Campus Yako Policy Yako campaign, and we want to also see and get views. We have a survey that we're doing to collect views from students, female and male, on how we can inform sexual harassment policies in the university. Because I promise you, your input will change not just your life, but for 60,000 plus others. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for that, Purity. I would like 3 people to tell me what they've learned in this session. Oh, this is interesting. Mwenye tafika hapa mbele wa kwanza. Mkuje. You come as many as you can. Si lazima the 3 of them. Na si juu ya credit.
Hi everyone, my name is Susan. I have learned that sikuwa najua ati there's a clause hapo kwa hizo vitu za joining instructions about your rights. Yeah, so that's what I've learned. I think I'm going to look it up and know what it talks about.
Hi everyone. Before I even talk about what I have learned, I would like to ask Purity for further clarification that, you see, if students abuse us, students who have no power, let me say students who are not in the leadership, it's so easy for us to report. It's so easy for us to take action against them using the UNSA leaders. But now when it involves those UNSA leaders and they come threatening you that, oh, I have power, you go to those offices, but I'm already known there, you can't do anything about this. I can talk anything about you, but I have no power. We hear that there's a secretariat for GBV, but does she have an office, or is there an easier way that you can get? And did you consider the criteria that, while choosing that secretariat, was it like, did you consider the fact that these leaders, did you look for someone who cannot be influenced by these other leaders from faculty levels? Otherwise, I've learned a lot. Safety tips on how to, digital safety tips. I've learned a lot on that. I wasn't enlightened. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. I'm Zawadi and I'm I'm glad to be here today because there are a lot of things that I've learned. But one thing that has really stuck with me, or it's in my mind, is that I've learned that it's not my fault that, okay, I'm very much sure most of the ladies here with this GBV is not something new. Others have gone through it in a way that you didn't even know you're experiencing it until you're like opening up to someone and they're like, no, you're not supposed to go through this. So I've learned that it's not my fault that I've gone through it, and my voice matters, and there are platforms. First of all, me, at some point I was in a point where I've been in that situation where I don't know there's somewhere I can take this or I can report this. But I've learned there is a platform, there are people I can reach out to, and the only worry I'm still having is that you reach out to someone. We've even been betrayed by, you reach out to a lady, but again, instead of helping you, she's like condemning you of something. It's so much evident it's not your fault. You didn't do anything to put yourself there, but again, she's condemning you and she's making you feel like you're not even supposed to report this. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Miriam from Women Students Welfare Association from the University of Nairobi, and I've learned many things today. The fact that there are men who are willing to support us as ladies and who are fighting against GBV, it's very special and much appreciated. Another thing today I've learned on the platforms and the safe spaces that somebody can run into in case of a digital GBV. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Beth. I have learned a lot from the DCI person who spoke. He mentioned Fichwana DCI, where you can report gender-based violence cases. I have learned a lot from the representative from Yoma. She has told us about the opportunities that you can get on the Yoma platform. I also had a question. It's just that I didn't get an opportunity to ask it. My question was, we have raised awareness at the university level, at secondary school levels, and all that. We have been told of what to do in the events that you have experienced gender-based violence. And in all this, a question begs to be answered. What about the people in the rural areas who are not able to get opportunities like these? They are not able to get into platforms like this. They are not able to get into talks like this. What is being done to reach them? What is being done to make them informed about how they can help themselves? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Leilani Akinyi Princess, and what I've learned from here is that once somebody has experienced gender-based violence, you shouldn't be afraid and ashamed of yourself.
Let's clap for them.
Sorry for coming late. My name is Michael Otieno. I am an alumni of the University of Nairobi in waiting. So I come here late, but I have only 2 questions. Excuse me, please. I heard that there was someone from DCI. So you was a GBV activist. Sometimes when we go through violence, yes, we report these cases and the DCI takes from there. But the moment they go to courts, you all understand our judicial systems. These cases get compromised. And as we talk right now, there are several cases of gender-based violence whereby some of the victims are dead, but those cases have stuck in courts due to being compromised by the perpetrators. So as an initiative, do you have powers beyond the judicial system? Number 2, I've been seeing some, did you understand the question? Okay, thank you. I've been seeing several women activists from this campus, sorry to use the word women activists from this campus of the University of Nairobi in several WhatsApp groups. And unfortunately, some of them I see them abusing others, by the way. Others are even leaders who sometimes pretend to be women activists or activists, anti-GBV activists, but when you find them in groups, now it is time for politics, they really abuse people, including men. So do you have classes for such people, maybe to train them on how to, because I know you can't become a teacher if you have never become a student. Thank you. Na kama nimekukosea, nisamehe.
Thank you very much. Even men abuse women. In fact, now the women wanakuanga, okay, it's okay, but I understand. We all have to account for each other, both genders. I'll specifically answer the question on UNSA perpetrating the GBV, because it happens. What I'd say is, by the virtue that we have many other representatives, you can report to more than one. Even if it is faculty level. Thank God you have someone also in the council who's particularly interested in making sure that female students are advocated for. But let's just assume UNSA as a complete system is rigged. You have the Dean of Students' Office, you have the Dean of Faculty Offices. And then you also have WASWA. WASWA is also a parallel channel you can use to advocate for those spaces. Yes, in UNSA Council 2025 Secretariat for Gender. And we picked her specifically because she champions specifically for matters to do with gender, matters to do with GBV, matters to do with TFGBV. Yeah. In fact, she is from Mombasa campus because we want to promote inclusivity. And there, she's leading a massive campaign called Scroll Bila Troll, exactly as 16 Days of Activism advocates for. And so she was picked specifically to uplift and to help in the roles that we do. And she's helping Marion even in making sure that we're doing our campaigns cohesively together. She's our bridge between UNSA and WASWA. And this, unfortunately, will be dependent on the team that comes in. So we can always push for ensuring that we always have someone in UNSA who's going to advocate for. And that's why it is my hope that the team that comes after me continues with my sister's keeper. We can even have now my brother's keeper, but sisterhood and promoting equality in all facets is something that we have in our heart as UNSA 2025-2026. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon once again. My name is Purity, and I'm going to answer the question that was asked previously on what our organization is doing to get to the local mwananchi uko mashinani. So at Safe Online Women Kenya, we have seen that gap, and we want to advocate for safe digital spaces for women across Kenya. So what we are planning to do from next year is to translate TFGBV into our local vernaculars so that when we go to the communities, we can be able to explain to them TFGBV in a simplified manner so that they can be aware of what is happening. Most of us, especially in Kenya, we use TikTok a lot and also Facebook. Sindio, when something happens to you on the platform, and for example, they have abused you in the local vernacular, the platform itself is not able to help you report that, because ukitusiwa, for example, something in Swahili, the app will not be able to understand that. And those are some of the things our organization is advocating for, so that whichever abuse is done to a person, the application is able to translate that, and they're able to understand that this is actually abuse. So to answer your question, from next year, we are championing to advocate and create awareness on TFGBV in the local setting. So thank you.
I'd like to just mention about or answer, is it Otieno? and he said, is there any higher powers above judiciary? And honestly, the system runs. So your mandate, if you are experiencing TFGBV, and I want us to be very intentional about this, because GBV, mentioning GBV, then mentioning TFGBV is not the same thing, because TFGBV is what we are. This is the campaign for this year, 16 Days of Activism. GBV through technology, okay? All right? Because I've had a lot of mismatch when people are speaking. So let's be very intentional about that. So there isn't any higher power, because the rule of law has to take its course. But your mandate is to make sure that you report, you screenshot, you send the links to, the URL links. There are very many platforms. So do not be afraid to go ahead and report, and do not think, oh my God, nobody's gonna care enough to make sure that, I get justice. We've seen a case yesterday. I know you guys, Mko tech savvy, you know what I'm talking about. Yesterday, an influencer, local influencer, let me say a global, in case this goes online, influencer was able to win in court, right? You know what I'm talking about. So I do not want to mention names after being saying that her information was shared without her consent and all those. So it shows this was a case that took around 3 years. I'm not sure, 2 to 3, and still she got her justice. So your mandate again and again is to report, okay, not to be silent, because immediately you are silent about this, that your class rep is being cyberbullied online. Mmenyamaza tu, mnaona tu ni normal. That is the problem. Someone else, her photos have leaked that she shared with a past boyfriend, and the boyfriend has not is not over this, and you are also sharing. Let's not weaponize each other. Let's basically think about each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. I hope you're all satisfied. And if you're not satisfied, they're all here. You can always ask them the questions. And for those who have asked questions and given their insights on what they've learned, kindly see me after the session. I would like to invite Mary Ojwang to give the call to action for the whole thing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Comrades power. Comrades power. Nice. My name is Mary Ojwang. I work as an admin at WASWA. Our office is at Engineering Block. And I'm so happy to be here today. And in my call to action, I'd want to draw the inspiration from the discussions that have been here since earlier this morning until now, and also from a study I was doing. I'm a PhD student here at the University of Nairobi. So most of my time at night I spend reading and doing data analysis, and I also support WASWA in research as a tool for activism and advocacy. So there is a study that we did in WASWA on experiences of students in general, where we were mostly targeting female students' feedback, but 60% of the respondents were female and 40% were male. And our findings show that 3 out of 5 female students have experienced some form of violence on digital spaces. And they take different forms. And when I was doing an analysis, I was so shocked to find out that death threats are amongst the top prevalent cases of TFGBV, and they overflow and spill over to offline harassment, whereby some are being targeted verbally. And Purity mentioned earlier about how digital spaces perpetuate, how it starts as a joke, and how it manifests whatsoever. So part of my conclusions after the study, I want, for the entire findings will be posted in WASWA website, and also you can find it on my ResearchGate profile. Mary Ojuang. You can read the entire report on university students' experiences on TFGBV. And I'd like to do a reflection about TFGBV, and based on what has been discussed in the morning until now, it is clear that digital spaces serve as a dual nature, whereby they serve both as spaces of empowerment and sites of harm. They are double-edged swords. While they offer opportunities for empowerment and advocacy, they also serve as spaces where women, girls, and even men and boys have been targeted for abuse and exploitation, discrimination, and harassment. And sometimes, which is very common, when I asked respondents to describe a time when online conversation or a group chat, for example, on WhatsApp or social media, started as a joke or casual comment, but later became hurtful, humiliating, and uncomfortable. It is sad to see how much is going on in these spaces, and this will inform our call to action today. Sometimes WhatsApp group conversation among friends and peers can start as a joke or casual comment where everybody's laughing, right? But the jokes can slowly become mean and personal. For example, when it's about someone's appearance, gender, identity, or image, or even ethnicity or religion. This sometimes makes the person feel hurtful, and out of ignorance, we might not notice, or out of ignorance, we might continue the conversation, hurting other students in our WhatsApp groups. Some people may laugh out of lack of sensitivity or ignorance, or maybe lack of awareness. And today, as we leave this space, we hope that person is not you. You can take action by calling out that joke as inappropriate. And sometimes we've had people, one of the most hurtful TFGBV I saw in a space. As a researcher, sometimes I do not want to engage in digital feminism because I'm also collecting data and I want to try to be impartial in my analysis. But one of the most hurtful TFGBV I experienced in the digital spaces where I am is whereby a photo of one of our elected leaders were being circulated, and I was circulating these photos to popularize the image and faces of our leaders. Then somebody commented, I believe it's a male, and he said, "Kwani Waswa haina warembo?" Like, bro, what do you mean? Every person is beautiful. I was so engraved, and I know the person who was being referenced here was very offended. So don't be that person who starts those kind of conversation or makes such kinds of comments. Let's be sensitive in our remarks and always take action to call out injustices. Thank you so much. Before I take a seat, there is an artist. I actually prepared the forms that some of you filled, and I was asking to know what kind of programs you'd be interested in. And 39% of all the respondents said, which was actually the highest, that they would love this forum to have artistic feel. And we thank Leon, who was able to quickly pull together 10 pieces of artwork you see displayed here and at the ground floor. I'd like to give him 2 minutes to come and talk to us about what you see here. 2 minutes.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So Leon is my name, Leon Kagong, and the pieces you see, I'm the artist behind those artworks. And the whole motivation is to represent whatever women normally go through in their innermost closest. So they're made on charcoal on paper, and they're more like a visual representation on, GBV, vitu kama hizo, but the most important thing is the grand sale of them, it's in support of WOSWA and a proceeding of the exhibition is going to support women in a very economical empowerment way. So if you need to see more of them, they're downstairs, just at the entrance. And yeah, feel free to ask questions, feel free to engage with me. Yeah, and we'll have a good time. Asante.
Thank you so much. And this piece goes for 45,000 discounted comrade price, but other people can afford otherwise it's 75,000. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gadhoni, Warsaw official in charge of main campus, and I'm going to give the closing remarks. As we wrap up today's impactful discussion on technology-facilitated GBV, let us carry forward the spirit of solidarity and action. We are the digital warriors for change, advocating for safe digital spaces where everyone, including women and girls, can thrive without fear. Together we end technology-facilitated GBV, and we create a world where technology empowers rather than harms. Then I want to give a vote of thanks to Honorable C.S. Mbadi for gracing the events, to our chief guest in her absentia, Madam Anna Nyokabi, our partners, GEM, that is Gender in Education Movement, GCN, Girl Child Network, YOMA, and Safe Online Kenya for gracing the event and partnering with us, our esteemed speakers, panelists, participants, and most importantly, our audience for the success of this event. Thank you so much for this event. I hope you had an impactful session.
Thank you so much. In the interest of time, I would like to call the chaplain to introduce herself, and she prays for us so that we can end our session. Thank you all for coming. After the activity, we have a cake meant for you, just celebrating each and every one of you, the men and the girl child. We love girls, and we would like to see you thrive and be happy ladies. Thank you.
Hi. Good afternoon. Praise the name of the Lord. Yes, I think we are good to close. My name is Reverend Violet. Blessings. You can call me Jerai. If you're the dean of students, praise the name of the Lord. Yes, you know, pastors say praise the Lord a lot. So are we ready to close? Are we ready for a word of prayer? Yes. So shall we pray? Father, we thank you very much for this day. We thank you, Lord, for the conversations we have had in this space, Lord. We thank you, Father, for the speakers, the panelists, for the wisdom that we have gained in this place, Lord. That we can have safe spaces, we can report wickedness and abuse, Lord Jesus. We thank you, Father, and I pray that no one will feel intimidated or fearful to fail to speak up or report what needs to be reported, because you're also the God of justice. Thank you for a great afternoon. Thank you for the gift of life, Lord. Thank you, Father, for the University of Nairobi. And Father, we pray that you bless every other activity we do for the rest of this day and bless our time on campus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you. Have a great afternoon. Piga Yesu makofi.
So we're waiting for our cake. Jackie, how are we going to give out the refreshments? This is Jackie, a very beautiful lady from Girl Child Network, one of our good partners. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, so it's and it's a very important platform. I'm really excited. We've been here all this while. Thank you, everyone, for taking time to stay with us through the end of the session. So we saw that even as we come to an end, we don't really want people to go home. You know, we kept you here for a while, Cindy. So we have some refreshments behind there, and we will distribute. So probably we'll just go through the roles and see if everyone gets at least a piece or something to quench the thirst. So thank you everyone for staying through the process, and we hope to engage further, even on the online platforms. We've been recording, and of course you can go online and give your comment, even when you have a question that is very burning. You know, we couldn't even get to everyone through the audience to give feedback or react to what we've been talking about. So I want to appreciate all of you. Thank you. Okay, I think there's a cake, so probably the cake will be served from the front. Yeah, so, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so refreshments are not allowed to be taken inside the hall. After cutting the cake and we take the cake, you're each going to mnatoka, ukipewa refreshments zako ukitoka. Rules and regulations of the halls. Thank you so much. I'd like to call Patricia. Redemptor, kindly. Barbara. Purity.
Keki ni tamu, ni tamu sana. Keki ni tamu, ni tamu sana. Watu wote wanaingoja, watu wote wanaingoja. Wamama wote wameza mate, wamama wote wameza mate. Hata watoto wanaipenda, watoto wote wanaipenda. Hata vijana wanaingoja, hata vijana wanaingoja. Wazee wote wanasimaero, wazee wote watabasamu.
Ni mchezo wa meno, hakuna kucheza na miguu, bali ni mchezo wa meno.
Wanaingoja keki kweli. Keki ni tamu kweli. Kaikate sote. Tarumbeta Afrika. Yo. I love you. You love me. Oh, I love you. Oh, you love me. Ninakupenda. Unanipenda. Unanipenda. Ninakupenda. Ningwendete. Niunyendete. Ningwendete. Niunyendete. Nakuyanza. Waiyanza. Nakuyanza. Waiyanza. Ningwendete. Niunyendete. Niunyendete. Ningwendete. Aheri. Ihera. Aheri. Ihera. Nakumesea. Unanimesea. Oh, nakumesea. Unanimesea. I love you. You love me. My city.